Raw Healing Mastery. I can't believe it's you, man. Oh my goodness. I love what you do, man. The videos you do, the breath work, everything you do, man. It's just so high vibration. What can I do to become enlightened like you someday?
2 words. Heart chakra.
Ah, heart chakra. Okay. How can I get into that state?
Well, let's talk about it.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Loving vibrations, light information, peace vibrations, healing the nation, unity vibrations, it's a love celebration, yeah, with limitless vibrations.
Greetings, fellow Earthlings. This is Limitless Vibrations, presenting you with another edition. On another lovely sunny day, I have a special guest here. Well, actually, I'm a guest. We're both guests. We're gonna expose this on both of our channels. I'm here with Raw Healing Mastery, Soul Tribe, Soul Brother, and we're gonna talk about heart chakras and reactivating the heart chakra center. And we're gonna have a discussion about it. So let's dive into it.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk about you first. So how did you finally unlock your heart chakra center? Like, what thing exactly did you do? Or was it like a set of things, or like you just, like, how did you get into that state where you are right now?
I feel like opening the heart chakra has everything to do with identifying, reawakening to your own truth, and starting to live from that place of your own truth. Because so many people, they continually deny themselves. They're not on a path that they want to be on necessarily, and they sort of sacrifice living from their own truth, their own authenticity, for the sake of meeting other people's expectations or society's expectations. So for me personally, it was just awakening for the first time in my life to my own truth. And from that moment on, it was like more honesty, more truthfulness within myself and with those around me. And that's what I feel the heart chakra is all about.
Wow. Cool, man. It's been a pleasure to be here with you right now, because it's so crazy how, like, when you connect with Soul Tribe, it's like the connection is like instant. Like, you just feel it, and like it's emanating from your heart center, and it just clicks. It just the energy is synergized. Like, everything is just like comes one again. And I believe, like, what's happening right now, especially with the world, we are moving back into the heart center from the mind. We're moving back into the oneness of all creation, which is the heart, which is the seat of the soul. And we call the heart center the home center. Well, we say the heart is where the home is. Home is where the heart is. That's no coincidence, because we feel at home when we're in our heart center. You know?
I was just so happy when you arrived at Fruithaven. You just radiate so much color and so much light and so much authenticity. And you're a really great example of
thanks,
someone
man.
who's living from their heart center.
Thank you.
It's very inspiring to be around.
Thank you.
I'm very glad you're here.
Me too. I'm so grateful. Yeah. And gratitude is like one of the main practices I practice on daily, actually, the present moment, because it takes me back into the heart center. When I'm grateful for things, everything just comes to me, you know? When I started to do things that I love to do, these are the moments when I started to unlock these special abilities within myself. Basically just starting to live in my heart, you know? We all know these feelings that we've had ever since a child. We would, play around in kindergarten, or doing something that we love to do, like drawing, painting, or dancing, and just so in the present moment now that everything else just seems irrelevant, and you're just beyond space and time. If you can be in that state like all the time, like, that's next level. And recently I've been in this state like pretty much all day. So I think like humanity is operating at like the the level of like 20% heart mode or 30% heart mode. But like shifting like up, there's levels to this shit, you know. There's levels to love, you know. It doesn't even stop at 100%. Like I noticed myself, but reactivating the heart is it comes naturally when you start doing things that you love to do and doing things that make you feel alive, you know. And that's what I started to incorporate within myself, you know, with many different practices and stuff like that. Yeah.
Maybe we could talk about some of those practices, like what types of things did you specifically do, or what kinds of things would you recommend to people who want to live more authentically, live from that place, from the heart space, open their heart chakras?
Yeah. So the first thing that opened the door for me was diet. When I went vegan around 5 years ago, that opened so many doors for me. And I probably wouldn't be here today if I didn't make that decision right there and then. So that opened a lot for me. Then I started going towards stepping up in the ladder towards raw foods, and then fruitarianism, and now I'm fruit-based for the last 2 years. And I would say fruitarianism has been one of the biggest catalysts for putting me on the journey back into the heart center, because fruits are like the least karmically, the karma-free foods that don't really have such a negative karmic reaction when you eat them. So it makes sense that when you eat fruit, you start to get more positive reactions, and then you start feeling more loving emotions. Like it's so connected, the mind, the gut, the emotions. So that's what really helped me at first. And then I started just changing who I spent around time with. You know, I wouldn't really spend time around family or friends. Like I just distanced myself from everybody. For the last 7 years, I've been spending 95% of my time alone and processing things by myself and really getting to know myself. Like that's been the biggest key, I would say, you know, because honestly, we are in a society, in a world where everyone is dealing with unresolved shadows, unresolved emotions, and whether they know it or not, they are projecting this at you, not intentionally or unintentionally, but they're still doing it. And if you spend time around certain people who haven't healed that, you start to absorb that frequency. As we know, everything is energy, frequency, and vibration. And so I realized that, and I started just distancing myself from family and friends. And I traveled by myself, went to India, went to Mexico, I learned Spanish. I traveled all around the world just by myself and gone to really know myself. And honestly, right now, I would say my best friend is myself. Like, that's my absolute best friend. And you should be your best friend. Same as you. You should be your best friend. We all should be our own best friends first. And then everyone else will start to be our best friends. Well, the ones that are like us, you know, are like living in love.
I feel like living in society sort of trains us to not take very good care of ourselves, or to not love ourselves, not treat ourselves with kindness. And a lot of people, if you tell them that, oh, I love myself, then they might think you're like a narcissist, or you're like full of yourself, or you're like have this weird obsession with self. But that's not really the case. Self-love is all about treating yourself with kindness and just taking care of yourself on a very simple level, and cultivating your own energy so that you can then help others, because we're all in this together. And the more you help yourself, then the more you have to give. And it's all about giving back to the planet, giving back to each other, helping each other. That is the greatest joy. And it starts with taking care of yourself, giving to yourself, which involves, at the very core, living truthfully, like honoring yourself, honoring your own truth and what you really know that you need to do. You do that. You don't wait around for someone else to approve of you to do what you need to do. You just do that.
Yeah, and it's like, it's such a beautiful process how everything is unfolding. The more you start to do things, just really, we all are ourselves, but there's so many layers that have been put on us over decades or centuries of emotional cycles. It's like your parents passed down, you know, unhealed emotions to you the moment you were born, and you had to deal with that, and even society and everything. It's like a very unhealed emotional world out there. So it's kind of like breaking all the cycles, you know. You break the cycle and you set a new pattern, and that's exactly what me and Kevin did, and many others who are on this path right now. We're breaking cycles to make way for new stuff and new realities and new possibilities and new beginnings, which is beautiful, you know.
It's happening right here at Fruithaven. Like,
Yeah.
we're seriously breaking the mold here by living more heart chakra focused, which means more compassion for all beings, which means living more harmoniously with the earth, which we're doing here, and we're starting to be very successful at that. So breaking these cycles means like really taking responsibility for your emotions, instead of, like Hermes said, like projecting them at everybody else. Even though you might be hurting, you recognize that, okay, like I created that within myself. There's some part of me that might not have been honoring myself, and that manifested as this pain or this trauma. But to break the cycles, it really involves like taking responsibility. And when you take responsibility, it's like no one else's stuff can really faze you. It's like you can then hold space for other people, which is a really important other way of helping people, and you can contribute to the collective healing.
This guy's a genius.
So, like, you know, like you said, you like push people away and to really discover yourself, and that's like such an important part of it. And I did the same thing. Like I said, I can't hang with this normal job, like normal life, disconnected from nature, eating all these weird toxic foods, like watching TV, just the normal Western lifestyle that's pretty careless and not very considerate of other forms of life. I was like, I can't hang with that. I gotta break away from that and do me, and like reconnect with nature, reconnect with my body, reconnect with community, reconnect with myself, eat natural food, get fresh air, sunlight, clean water, grounding, all these amazing things. It's like opening up a whole universe once you break away from that. But once you like heal yourself and you do a lot of your inner work, then you have the space to like suppose someone's like they're like a high conflict individual, and they're giving you a hard time for your lifestyle. That can be very triggering, as long as you haven't like resolved those parts within yourself. But if someone is like trying to upset you, or they're like projecting all their hurt onto you, once you do your inner work, you can like deflect that and like re-inspire them to like take responsibility for their stuff, or you could help them to heal. You could lift them out of those depths, so to speak. So I feel like the rebellion, like pushing away people for a time, is important to rediscover yourself. And then once you are like grounded in your new state of being, then you can reach out back to them maybe one day and help them and support them and reconnect.
Hit it on the head with the nail right there. It's not about changing the world. It's about changing yourself first and foremost. It's about being yourself, you know? A lot of my time when I first started awakening, I was always trying to change my family and friends and get them on the same boat that I was. I was trying so hard my parents to watch Earthlings, or go vegan, or do breath work, or do meditation, or just, I had spent so much energy projecting myself trying to help others who didn't even want to be helped. So that was one of the biggest lessons I've learned, that you can only help people who want to be helped. It's like people are drowning, you know, and you're throwing them a paddle boat so they can get back on the boat, and they're comfortable drowning. Oh, I'm gonna drown. And others are just like, okay, hey, I'm here helping. But in the meantime, you were there helping those people who didn't want to be helped, and there's people over here who wanted to be helped, you know? So I like to think of it like there's many beings right now who want to be helped. So help those who want to be helped, and you do that by helping yourself first and being yourself, really embodying the self, what the true self is, you know?
And like when you rediscover this whole new world of healing, it's very easy to like want to share that with so many people and like tell people what you think they should be doing, and that can come across as very like preachy and dogmatic and like egotistical, which it is. but that's sort of like a waste of energy. And it's better, like you said, to help those who, like, they seek you. Like, you're just living in your truth. You're being that joy and that health. You're that beacon of light, and people see that and they're like, wow, like how like how do I get out of
it's
these?
the glow. It's the glow. They just see it. They feel it. Like,
So yeah, it just doesn't help to like try to convince people when they're not ready for that. And that energy, you can better spend that helping people who are ready, who are asking you, who are curious, who like really are, you know, enticed and want to know more.
I want to talk more about practices and stuff like that to get us back into the heart. Like, for me, it's not just one thing, and it's never been just one thing. It's a holistic program that
It's everything.
it's everything, you know. So I like to do certain things that make me feel alive. So every morning I wake up and meditate and, you know, really center myself and close the mind down and, you know, spend some time with myself and not going straight to the phone, you know, because many of us go straight to the phone, checks what others are doing. Just first check in with the self first to see what, like, remind yourself that you're your best friend. So be like, hey, how you doing there? You know, how you doing? Like, make sure like you're always well taken care of first. And by doing practices like meditation first in the morning is crucial, and breath work to increase oxygen, increase chi, get the lymph moving, the blood circulating, yoga in the mornings, you know, sun gazing. There's lots of different practices that I actually follow. You know,
So many.
it's sun gazing. There's fasting. You know, I was doing 1 meal a day for months beforehand. I'm doing just liquid diet. So I'm doing breath work. I'm doing meditation. I'm doing yoga. I'm grounding myself on the earth every day. Getting the sun rays when I want to, and I'm just taking off all my clothes and absorbing all the frequencies from the sun, because the sun is like, it is the richest source of prana. That is the richest source of prana. It gives life to all things on this plane of existence. Without the sun, there would be no me or you here. So I like to absorb myself in the sun, naked, get nude, you know, smell the flowers, connect with Soul Tribe, you know. I love to do music and really help. Well, I really enjoy it. I love to create and be creative and write and rap and do singing. So you can check that out if you'd like to. Afterwards, we're gonna jam, and yeah. So it's just about like finding what you love to do and what makes you feel alive. Those things that make you feel alive and which get you back into the heart center. And for me, that's what really works. And probably the same thing for you,
Yeah,
like natural
lots of
light
things.
stuff, you know.
Things that we have in common: the diet, eating like electrical foods, like the fruits. I really like other types of raw foods as well: the vegetables, the herbs, the fermented nuts and seeds, the sprouts, the superfoods. I really have experienced a lot of benefit in my life from those things. The breath work, like you mentioned, that's something we've been practicing a lot the past week or so. And the sunlight, getting the sun on your skin, getting the sun in your eyes, and just the energy from the earth here is off the charts. Like I feel like it sucks all of the maladies out of your body, and it replaces them with this balance and this harmony and just this beautiful earth energy. So I love sleeping as close to the earth as possible, sleeping in my tent, spending as much time as possible out in nature, out in the elements, because they really do support you. Like, we are made of the elements. Our bodies are made of earth, water, air, fire. So you must have contact with those things.
Yeah, and there's also, you know, lots of other things that we do. We practice, you know, just being conscious and
Being
making
of
every day,
service.
every moment a meditation, you know, not just sitting down and that's the only meditation, like making this life a meditation and really enjoying the process of every single moment and living in the present moment, because the present moment is present for you to receive. It's the greatest gift one can receive because it's a present, you know. You just open it and you live in it. And like, if you're in the heart center, if you're doing what you love, all the time, then you are automatically in the present moment. And guess what happens when you start living in embodying that space? Like magic, you know? For me, I can tell you firsthand experience and many others that abilities come to me, like special abilities come to me, like creative insights, downloads, information, like just so many revolutionary ideas come to me when I'm being present, when I'm doing what I love, when I'm dancing or singing or in nature or just moving or talking or being, like things just come. And like even like telepathy and things like that too, like I'll know what maybe Kevin's gonna say to me right before he says it, or I know what like if he's gonna feel or he can ask me for something. Like these things happen like naturally when you start unlocking and reactivating the heart center. Like there's nothing more powerful than this space. Third eye is powerful, crown chakra is powerful, but nothing on this earth is more powerful than reactivating the heart center. It's the most orgasmic state of being. Like it's honestly amazing.
It's the nucleus of everything. It's like it's the middle chakra, it's the center chakra. All the other chakras emanate out from that. And even when you're just like a few cells, like when you're first being conceived in the womb, you're just a heart at first, and then all the other body parts develop out of that. So really the heart is like the portal. It is the epicenter. It's the portal to source. It's the truth. And nature is like one big heart. And it's the color green. It's the color of the heart chakra. Yes, it harmonizes, it resonates with your heart. Being out in nature really helps to activate that as well. So
exactly. Yeah, man. And I would like to tell you guys about my experience with reactivating my heart center fully, 100%. I was in aesthetic dance, and I was just doing my own thing, and I decided to just close my eyes for the whole experience and, you know, really tap in and tune into myself. So I started just breathing deeply, intuitively, and I started just moving qigong, and the music with compiled with the affirmations just started to like make my body tingle and like really connect with myself. And I think I was doing that for like 20 minutes straight, and that's when my body like was like just emanating pure love, and like I couldn't even feel my hands, and I couldn't talk, but I just felt everything. I started crying and releasing so much, and tears actually are one of the best ways to release unhealed traumas, emotions, because tears release the fears. And in reality, I realized that when I had this experience of reactivating the heart center, fear is not real. It doesn't exist. Love is the only thing that is real. Fear is like a boogeyman underneath your bed that might frighten you first and foremost, but it's never really gonna hurt you. Fear it's an illusion. And that's when I made that illusion. When I really started to realize that is when I was like, shit, like I'm fucking limitless, you know? Like we are all limitless. Like we can do so much, and we can be anyone we want to be. We can do anything we want to do. We can any moment, you know, we never have to sacrifice ourselves in order to do something we don't want to do. We can always be doing something that we love to do all the time. That's how it should be here. And when that does happen, when I believe that's going to happen, what's happening right now, we start doing what we love to do, this is when the earth shifts back to its prime original blueprint in the Garden of Eden, the golden age, you know?
Yeah. So I feel like it's important in our lives to do things, to act in a way where we're planting seeds that create more possibilities. I feel like it's all about living your life without limitations, because most people live their lives, unfortunately, in a state of where they believe that there's so much scarcity around. There's so many limitations, there's so many external factors, which are really just them. It's just the self, keeping them down, keeping them in a place where they don't feel fulfilled, they don't feel happy, and they point the blame, and the cycle continues. But once you take responsibility, you start doing things to change that, and you create more and more possibilities for yourself, and you're planting good seeds in your life with these actions, with the raw vegan diet, with caring for nature, with connecting in community,
Fasting.
with caring for your body, with the right movements like the dance and the breath.
Qigong.
All of these things create more possibilities. They open more doors in your life.
Yes. And let me just add one thing. Like, you can be doing all these practices. You could be doing Qigong, meditation, Fruithanism, nature, tantric practices, like all these high vibe practices. But if you are not incorporating the heart, if you don't truly live in the present moment, none of that stuff matters, because you're not really living. That's actually the truth of this reality. So the practices are very important, but in reality, you are the final key to unlocking that heart center. So it's you.
Yeah, you see a lot of people do these same practices and they say, oh, I didn't get a good result, or the vegan diet didn't work for me, now I'm a carnivore, or whatever. And that is because the heart it has to happen as a result of that heart opening first. If it comes from like an intellectual place where maybe I should do that because Fully Raw Christina told me to, or somebody else is doing it and it seems trendy, it seems cool, then you're probably going to run into problems, because it's the intention underneath that really matters. So that comes first, the heart comes first, and everything else follows suit.
Everything. You never have to worry ever again as soon as you start stepping in your heart center. Like I said before, magic comes to you. It comes to you. You don't even have to try and look for outside of yourself to receive it. It just comes to you naturally. But you just have to surrender. You have to surrender, and you got to stop caring about what others think. Stop caring about what others are doing or eating. All that stuff has nothing to do with your journey into reactivating your heart center. So it's your journey. It's an inner journey. This is why we're here, to heal inner within ourselves. And when we do that within ourselves, as within, so without, and it manifests externally. And that's when paradise comes. Golden age.
Be truthful, be honest with yourself and with others. Hide nothing. Hold no secrets. Let all that go. Make yourself seen and vulnerable. Because when you hold on to a secret, or when you're not expressing an aspect of yourself, that becomes like a poison within you. But as soon as you express it, regardless of how it's received by people, it's something that nourishes you, because it's your truth, and it's directed the way that it needs to go.
And if you've always had like a intuitive calling to go somewhere or do something, or just like something that makes your heart just like shine and fire you up within yourselves, do it. Do it. Like, absolutely do it. Don't wait. Why wait? Why wait?
Waiting is like holding in your poop when it's time to go. It's time you gotta
just go now,
And
now.
you,
It's the only moment. Now. Time is an illusion. It doesn't exist. It's Maya.
You hold it in, it's like you're harming yourself. But you gotta let it go so that it can nourish the soil and like serve its purpose. Your truth has a purpose in the world. Don't let the people discourage you when they say, oh, that's dumb, or like you're crazy. Like, just be you, and you will find your tribe.
Be you.
And you will attract the right people.
Be
who
you.
accept you and love you and care about you and value what you have to share.
Even if the whole world is against you, let's say you have 7 billion people against what you are doing, but if you know it in your heart, if it's true, if you know it in your heart and you really feel it within yourself, that this makes you feel alive, this makes you feel amazing, it just gives you so much meaning, it's true, it's your truth. And regardless of what anyone else says, you know it to be true, and just pursue it, you know? Why wait? The time is now.
Time is now. If you change your thoughts in this moment, because you can choose your thoughts. Like, most people just have like a thought loop going 24/7, and it's just like doing its own thing. But once you consciously choose your own thoughts, You can redirect your life. You can change your whole life in an instant. You can do that right now.
Right now. All you gotta do is be you. Alright, man. Thanks a lot for having me on the show.
Love you.
I love you, bro.
Thanks for being here.
Thank you. I'm grateful. Peace, love, light.
Why you feel so blue? So blue. Within you is the truth. Now you got to do. Remember to be you. Be you. You are so damn cool. So cool. Like Winnie the Pooh. Now you got to ever do. Just remember to be you. Be you. It's time to fully bloom. Let your soul sing this tune. Now you got to ever do. Just remember to be you. Be you. Remember to be you. Be you. Remember to be you. That's all you got to ever do. Got to do. Just remember to be you. Be you.
Thank you all for tuning in to this limitless vibrational frequency. Hope you all have a lovely day. Remember,